What's up, everyone? My name is Eitan Adad. I'm one of the senior account managers here at PracticePanther, and I wanted to show you a quick walkthrough of the software, highlight some of the coolest features, and just to show you how easy this software is to use. Because that's a huge thing about us, and that's what we strive on being. Extremely intuitive, extremely easy to use, and packed with super awesome features. So what we're going to do, I want to show you how to set up a client, set up a matter. We'll go through some awesome automation features, go through billing. And keep in mind, you can always fast forward if you feel like this isn't relevant to you. Just want to show and highlight a bunch of cool stuff in the software. So what we'll do, let's start on the dashboard. So this is going to be the first screen you're going to see when you log in. You'll have some financial summaries over here. And a common question is, hey, can I hide this from other people? You definitely can. You can create really advanced custom security roles in the software where you can decide what each user can create, view, edit, and delete in the software. So for example, I can create a role and I can limit almost every functionality of the software can be limited. And one of the coolest things about us is you can actually restrict by IP address. So if you don't want, like let's say a new hire to be able to log in from a remote location, like from their house or just a Starbucks, you can actually restrict that. So you can have them only log in from the office if you wanted to. Quick creates are really cool. So this is just one click if you wanted to create a new client, add an expense, track your time. Super straightforward. Your hours. If you're doing hourly billing, this is cool because you'll be able to see at any point. So how many hours did I do this week or this month or this year? This shows you that right there. And what's cool is you can actually click hours this week, shows you the details of the hours that you set up this week, the last 30 days, all right over here. And you can even filter which ones are billable, which ones are not billable, which ones are assigned to this user. So this is, in my opinion, one of the most useful features because what this does, this is going to be a timeline of everything that happened in the firm. So what's the last thing that happened? Who did it? When did it happen? What was it regarding to? So for example, you can see the last thing that happened this date and time was that there was a new payment received for Linda Smith test matter. And what's cool is a lot of times we hear, hey, like I haven't been in the office for a while. I want to see what's the last thing that happened for a case. If you click into any single matter, you search a matter, use the search at the top left to do that. If you just scroll down, this is going to show you all of that right over here. So the last thing that happened, who did it, when did it happen? On the right-hand side, you're going to have your sidebar. So this is going to follow you everywhere in the software. You're on the time entries page, it's still here. You're on activities, it's still here. And this is really cool because this is going to have timers where you can start from anywhere in the software. It's going to have your calendar. It's going to have your agenda. And this is awesome because with this agenda, we actually send you a daily agenda email every day at 6 a.m. with your entire to-do list so you're ready to go for that day. And keep in mind, we do integrate with so many different calendars from Outlook to Google to just your iCalendar on your Mac. And keep in mind, yes, this is Mac compatible. I'm using this on a Mac myself, and it's flawless on Windows as well. Recent activity is the last thing that happened, and a really cool feature will be the internal chat function, so you can send a quick message to someone in the office. So what we're going to do now, let's set up a new client. So there's a few ways to do this. There's the quick creates on the dashboard. It's one click. If you're anywhere else in the software, new button over here. One click to do that as well. A really awesome feature, something that's unique to our software, is you can actually have built-in automated intake forms. So this is awesome because you can actually build any intake form you want. All it is just drag and drop. So with these intake forms that you build in, you send this to your client, that automatically, so we'll send this over here. This is the link I can send to them. You can even embed it on your website, and something that's awesome. We offer free training and support. We'll even help embed this on your website for you. So your client gets this intake form. This is what it looks like on their end. So it's got your logo, it's got your colors. It's so easy to set up, and anything that they put on here will populate in the software with their information. So you can have it on a tablet. You can have it, have it send a link to your client before you meet By the time you meet, you have all their information right there ready to go. So useful, super easy to do. So let's go more into detail on creating a contact, because this is really cool, because not only can you add, just the basics that we offer, you can add as many custom fields as you want to our software, and you can do different types. So drop down menus, date boxes. You can even do a paragraph box where you can put more detailed information. Tags over here. So in my opinion, this is probably one of the most important features in the software, because what this does, this allows you to customize and categorize contacts. It allows you to categorize matters. It allows you to categorize activities. So an example of how you could do this is you could first put so many different types of contacts. So you're not limited to just clients. So you could put, all right, is this a client? Is this another attorney? A really, really useful tag as well is, hey, how did I find this person? Where did this person come in from? Use the tags as well. So let's just say this is a referral from Attorney Jim. So we have these two tags. So let me just quickly create, Joe Smith. And then I'll click save. So now when I'm looking at all of my contacts over here, so I have 1,700 contacts now. I don't care about seeing everyone. I only want to see, let's say, the clients. So it filters down. How many of these clients are referrals from Attorney Jim? 64. How much money did I get paid from referrals from Attorney Jim that are also clients? You have that right there. And keep in mind, something that's huge with our software. We have an entire migration team that can help import your old client list, your matters, things like that. So talk to your account manager, set up a call with them. He'll help you out. They'll help you out with those questions. So recent button, you're going to see I click this. It takes me right back to what I was doing. So an important thing. So if you're looking at a client, so I'm going to click into Linda Smith here. They're a past client that I have. This page is going to show you everything that's ever happened for this person right here in one spot. So, for example, Linda Smith has 11 different matters. I could see every single matter right here organized in one spot. So the financials. Financial summary, just like I showed you on the dashboard, you're going to have financial summaries for each client and each of their matters as well. So activities will host your tasks, your events, calls, emails, things like that. And since I'm on the client level and this person has 11 different matters, it's going to show me every single activity across the board for those 11 matters. So I don't need to go anywhere else in the software. It's all right here. So for example, Linda Smith, 11 matters, 100 plus activities. How many of these are not completed, that are assigned to me, that are due, let's just say, this month? You can keep filtering down to see just what you need to do. And you can see what matter each one is related to as well. So it's huge because you don't need to go anywhere else. It all stays organized. So what we'll do now, let's set up a matter for this person. So to do this, it's so easy. Just click New Matter. And we'll just put in Linda Smith test matter as an example. So a really important feature, not only can you create custom fields for each contact, for each matter, you can actually group these custom fields together. So what this means, so you can see I've added a bunch of different custom fields here myself. So if I want to go in and I want to select, let's just say this group for personal injury or family law. If I select a group, every custom field for that group that I created will appear, which is important because if you're working on family law, you have criminal, you have personal injury, you don't want to see a huge list of fields that aren't relevant to what you're working on. Use the groups to keep everything organized. When it comes to billing, there's a few different ways you can do this. So you can have your user default hourly rate. You can have a special custom hourly rate, and you can set it by role. You can set it by user or just for everyone. You can do flat fees. You can do item price billing, where this is cool because if you select an item, the hourly rate associated with that item will automatically update the time entry. And then contingency is cool because this is more if you're working on personal injury over here. Every good retainer is awesome because if you're working on a case that you take a retainer up front, this is pretty much the minimum amount that you want in the retainer at any time. So for example, every good amount is $2,000. I know that any time that my retainer falls below $2,000, I get a notice. So for example, if I do this Tiger Woods test matter, you can see you get that alert right there. So you're not billing for free. So you don't have to chase after the client. Hey, don't forget. And you can even add the remainder of that invoice retainer back to the invoice. So assigned will be who's working on the case. And keep in mind, you can limit access, like I said earlier. So if you don't want someone to be able to view a matter that's not assigned to them, you could do that. And then you also can keep track of that originating attorney report right over here. So tags, just like I showed you with contacts, this is going to allow you to organize your matter list. So most common from what I've seen is that people will put in the practice area, then more detail on what this is. So for example, you could put family law. You could put another tag for divorce as an example. So the whole point of that is now when I'm looking at all of my matters, so I have over 1,400 open matters. Which ones are assigned to me, which ones are opened, and which ones are dealing with family law. Which of these family law are dealing with divorce. And then you can even filter even further. All right, which ones out of these are also referrals from Attorney Jim? So you can keep filtering down to see just what you want to see at any point in time. It's so useful. So when we click into our matter, so first thing I want to cover will be the activities, because this is really cool. This is where you can put your tasks, your events, any emails that you've logged to the software, any calls that you've logged. It's all right here. So for example, if we go in and create a new event, and we'll just say it's a meeting. Then we'll say it's next week. Something that's really cool with the software is that it'll actually show up if you have any conflicts on that day. So you'll see a pink pop-up right here, so you're not double booking yourself by accident. Something that's huge also is that you can even get reminders. So you don't want to make sure this doesn't slip through the cracks. I can set reminders with pop-ups, with emails, and even text messages. And what's even cooler about this is that you add other users, you add your client to this, each person that you add will actually get the same exact reminders as you. So the software will automatically follow up with them when they have upcoming deadlines and appointments. So you're not the one that's constantly doing that. And like I mentioned before, this will integrate with your Outlook or Google Calendar. Tasks is more of something that needs to be completed, such as say, we set a task, call client. And we assign this to, John Smith over here. So what's cool about this, like I mentioned, you're going to have the software text, email, and send pop-ups to people in the software and your clients. When the person that you're working with completes a task, you get a notice that it's been completed. So you don't have to constantly follow up. Hey, was this done yet? We even have a report. So I want to see my activities, and I want to see every single task that's not completed, that was created by me, that I assigned to, John over here. So 205 different things. So I can see each one right over here. I can click into this. So this one's overdue. I don't know what's going on with this. I can click into this and actually write a message. Hey, do this today. John gets a notice that I wrote that message. He can respond right back on this history. And then when he finally goes ahead and completes it, I get that notice. Another really useful function is the workflow ability, because what this does, this allows you to create a template of steps. So for example, you start a case, you always have the same 5-10 things that always happen. You can easily create a workflow based on those steps. So when you apply this to any single case that you want, creating a workflow is a one-time thing. So you'll have your main event, then the things that follow that. So for example, the main event will be the day I retain the client. We'll say it's today. I know that 5 days after, I have this test that needs to happen. 25 business days after, this needs to happen. And notice I can actually assign these tasks to other people straight from this page. So what happens is that when I go in and I click save, it'll email the people that I've delegated those tasks to, and it creates my entire to-do list in one click. Calculates the dates for me in one click. So you know exactly what you need to do when you finally do it. Mark it as complete, crosses it off your list. So what we'll do now, let's go through the notes section, because notes over here will allow you to link any single note, whether it's court notes or whether it's just a follow-up note. With all activities, you can tag and you can even add attachments to these as well. So another cool thing that you can do with these activities is that you can actually save your emails directly to the software, which is awesome because we actually have an amazing Gmail and Outlook plugin that act very similar to each other. The way it works, you get an email from someone, so I'll pull up my Gmail. You click the PracticePanther plugin, it'll actually search to see if there's a match in the software. So a matching contact, a matching email. So I click the email, and what it's going to do, it's going to allow me to save it directly to that client, directly to that matter. So easy. So if I click open in PracticePanther, I'll be able to see that email and every single email that I've ever saved right there in one spot. So it allows you to easily save any email, whether it's in Outlook, whether it's in Gmail. It acts very similar to each other. It all stays organized right here. So you can even filter which ones are my emails, which ones are my tasks. So what we want to do now, let's go into the billing aspect of this. Billing is, in my opinion, one of the easiest things to do. There's a few ways you could bill. So I can just do new time entry. And what you could do is you could just put in how much time you spent, what you were doing, who was billing. And private notes are cool. You can add in anything you want here. The client will not see this. And I go ahead and click save. That's one way you can bill. You can also use these timers. And the awesome thing about these timers is that you can actually start a timer from anywhere in the software, and you can stop it from anywhere. And what this means is I can start a timer on my computer, I can stop it from my phone. So let's just say you're in your office, a client calls you, hey, can you come meet me? Sure. Start the timer here, go meet them, and what you can do is as soon as you're done, you just click save, and then all you're doing now is linking it to the client in Matter. It's that easy. So expenses are awesome because you can actually put in an expense and even write a check directly from the software for that expense to pay the vendor. Relationships are awesome because you can link any related party to a case right here in one spot. So it's useful if you want to do a conflict search down the road, you can add that in over here. So for example, we'll say this person here, we'll just do witness as an example. If I do a conflict search down the road, so I'll just type in Griffin, it'll search the software, and then you'll be able to see every single person right there with Griffin. And then you'll be able to see, oh, there's Brian Griffin. And then you can see they have one relationship, they were the witness on our matter. So more detail on the billing. Really useful feature. We nicknamed this the Money Finder feature because what this does, this will allow you to see everything that you've completed. So we'll say everything I've completed. And you can actually see if you've logged your time for something or not. This is so important because so often we see that people forget to bill for the work that they're doing. This will help find those extra billable hours for you. So for example, send disclosure letter that I completed, I never logged my time for this. So I can just click log time and bill for this in seconds. Because what you can do, you don't have to do this for one matter. So I can go to my activities, which is going to be everything across the board for everything I've done. So I want to see every task that I completed that was assigned to me, and we'll say in the last 7 days, what's still billable? What can I still find and generate a bill for? So, send intake for this client, I can just click log time and bill for this in seconds. That feature is so important because it essentially pays for the software itself, because so often we see people forget to bill. This will find those extra billable hours for you. When it comes to adding a retainer into the software, it's super straightforward. It's one click. So new payment, add a retainer. And with our LawPay integration, it's so cool because what this does, this will allow you to add money into the trust, into your operating, and that is completely compliant with the ABA, with your bar association, because they know how to work both of those things together. So I can charge a card over the phone or in person. I can request a payment via email, and look how easy this is. So I just put in the amount, decide what bank account I want to put this into, and your client will get this email. And when they go in, and they enter their credit card details, it's completely branded with your logo, with your colors. So you can choose ACH, you can choose credit card, and they can just enter their credit card details right there in one spot. Which is so cool because you don't have to be the one to wait for a check to come in the mail. You don't have to be the one to wait for the client to come into the office. So I'm going to save this card on file, which is huge because this is saving the card on file with LawPay, which is PCI compliant. Your client gets a receipt, and you'll see in the software that they made a payment. You get a notice in real time as soon as it happens. So now that we have our retainer in the software, you see what's billable over here. Let's actually go ahead and generate our invoice. So it's one click to do that. On this page, I can review everything. And this is awesome because you can actually make edits and changes directly from this page. So for example, I forgot to put a description here. I can just click that and enter that over here. I can change the hours directly from here. I can change the rate if I wanted to. I can add discounts. All of that's customizable straight from this page. And then what's even cooler is that when it comes to the payment options, you can use the trust balance that they originally put into the software and apply that payment to the invoice automatically. And one of the most important things in the software is that you can even send invoice payment reminders as well, which is going to allow your client, which is going to allow the software to automatically send an email to your client, and you can decide what each email says and when it gets sent out as well. Another important feature is that we integrate with QuickBooks Online. So I'm going to pull that up over here. So I have QuickBooks Online over here. So if I go in and I click Save, that's going to instantly sync over to QuickBooks. So this is invoice 2528. If I check QuickBooks now and I go to my invoices, I'll be able to see 2528 right there. So you can see that invoice directly within the software. This is in QuickBooks. So if I go in now and I send this to my client, so I'll just click the send button and I want to send this via email. Your client gets the link to the invoice, shows them the amount due. And keep in mind, this email is going to come from your email, so not from PracticePanther. So your client goes in and clicks to view it. As soon as they do that, you'll notice in PracticePanther, you get a notice that the invoice has been viewed. And then since we have that integration with LawPay, one click for them to enter their credit card details. It's that easy. So keep in mind, that invoice I just showed you, that's just one at a time. We actually have a batch billing feature, so you're not limited to one invoice at a time. So if I go to my invoice page and I go to multiple invoices, from this page, I'll be able to see every single matter that has a billable amount. And what's cool, this goes back to the tags. So if I want to do all of my bills just for, let's just say, family law, I can use the tags here to filter. So what it's going to do, if I want to go ahead and do every bill I have, so I select all, so I have 50 to do. On this page, I can decide, do I want to email them from here? Yes. Do I want to send them, do I want to use their trust balance? Do I want to send invoice payment reminders? And I can even carry forward the last payment as well. So if they haven't, the last balance as well. So if they haven't paid on their last invoice, this will carry forward that balance. And if you have any clients that have multiple matters, but you want to bill them all out on one invoice, not a problem, you can do that. You can even add interest to these invoices as well. So all I do is hit create, and that in one click, and in about 20 seconds, I just generated 50 invoices. I use their balance in the trust to pay the invoice, and I sent them out just like that. It's really that easy. So what we'll go now, let's go to some more automation features. So a really useful feature is the template function, because what this does, this allows you to upload your own templates into the software, where from this, it'll allow you to merge client and matter information from the software and paste that right onto your template. So to show you an example of how this works, so here's a template that I use. I have client information, first name, last name. You're going to use our merge fields from the software. And keep in mind, any custom field that you create will automatically show up over here. So once you paste that onto your template and place it wherever you normally need that information, it's going to automatically merge those fields for you. So if I go to any single matter now, so we'll go back to our Linda Smith matter. I do apply template, select the template I want, and I click download. In one click, it's going to automatically merge that information for me. So what's cool is, let's just say now I want to save that template directly to the software. I can do that with our document management features. So really awesome is that we integrate with Box, with Dropbox, with OneDrive, and Google Drive. And the way it works across the board for all those integrations is that it's going to, anytime that you create a new client, it creates a folder for that client. When you create a matter, it creates a subfolder for that matter. So I have Box set up over here. So if I wanted to save that document straight there, directly to the matter, I just click upload, and I can do one file. I can do an entire folder if I wanted to, and I just select the one I need. Awesome thing about this is that with this integration, you'll be able to go in and actually see that document directly within the software. So if I want to go in now and I want to make a change to this, I just click open with Microsoft Word, which is what I'm using to view this. It's going to launch the document for me, and if I go in and I make a change to this, so we'll just go in and highlight this. All I'm going to do is save. I just did Command S, Control S on a Windows. I go back to the software, I'll see that there's a new version available for this. So what's awesome about this is not only can you automatically see the changes, there's no need to upload the newest version. There's no need to download, the application to view in Word. There's no need to delete the old version, because in Box you'll be able to see the past versions as well. So I want to touch back on billing, because something that's really useful about this. So earlier I saved that card on file. The awesome thing about this is, let's just say you have a client that can't afford to pay their bill in one shot. So you agree, hey, let's do a payment plan. With LawPay, they actually have a payment plan feature. With PracticePanther, you have that built directly into our software. So for example, I can do a new payment plan. I can decide, all right, let's just do $300 every month until they pay a total of $3,000. The software is going to automatically charge the card that we have on file. You can decide what account you want to deposit in, and you can even automatically create the invoice. So it'll send an invoice every time they get charged, and you can keep track of every single payment right there. So if I go to my automation features, I go to payment plans, I can see my payment plan history. I can see what's coming up. I can see anything that was canceled, anything that was completed, anything that I finished during any date range I decide. And that's a huge thing with our software. Reporting is huge. Using those tags, you can create and customize any report. So for example, I go to my time entries reports, and I want to see, time entries by user. So see who's billing the most. And I can even filter using those tags. Out of all these time entries, how much of these are on this practice area? How much of these are within this year? So keep filtering down. And I can run reports on my trust ledger. I can run reports on my originating attorney, so how much was actually collected based on the work that was done. You can even run advanced reports on your trust and reconcile that directly within the software. Calendar over here is awesome, because this is going to allow you to, like I said, sync to your Outlook and Google Calendar. And we're with you every step of the way when it comes to setting up. So we'll help set up that integration, we'll help migrate your data, and that's included on the business plan as well. So calendar is cool because not only can I see my calendar, I can actually view other users' calendars as well. I can even pick the color. I can do different views, so weekly, daily, and an agenda view. And we even have an awesome integration with Law Toolbox. We can actually link with the court district that you're working in. So for example, if I set up a matter, and we'll just do this Linda Smith matter, And I'll just say California, and I'll just put in, trial date. What it's going to do, it's going to link with the court district that you're working in, and it's going to put every single deadline that you have coming up right there in one shot. So this requires a subscription with Law Toolbox, but it's awesome if you need that functionality. And what's cool about this is that, all of these upcoming deadlines, I want to make sure this doesn't slip through the cracks. Let's set reminders. I want a text message one day before each thing. Software will automatically follow up. Then I'll put that on your calendar, which will sync with your actual calendar, and that's going to show up directly within the matter. Under settings, so much customization that you can do in the software. When it comes to just putting a profile picture, when it comes to changing your logo, your theme, all right over here. Keep track of all of your tags, all of your custom fields. You can decide those invoice payment reminders, decide what each one says, and when it gets sent out. Invoices are completely customizable, different templates that you can create. So there's no limit to how many templates that you can do. So you can have a different template for different practice areas. You can decide what the theme of that invoice will look like. And if you want to change, a font, you want to change the spacing of something, our training and support team is here to help at any time. Then you have a bunch of different integrations to choose from. Zapier is huge because this will allow you to integrate with thousands of apps. So if something doesn't integrate with our software natively, you can actually create an integration directly with Zapier, which is so important. And keep in mind, any other question that you have that you feel I haven't discussed or you want more clarity on something, reach out to your account manager. We're with you every step of the way. Thank you so much for listening in. My name is Eitan, and pleasure speaking to all of you today.